from the global esports side. So they actually had the full force that they would want to actually push into the site. Now it's the table's turn. They can play retake for the rest of the game if they want to. Not saying that they should, but at least on the defending side, they don't really have to reach too far anymore. They're the ones who's going to be grabbed upon by global esports.
Fancy United. It's a little perilous again. I think I said it a while ago to Elo Asterike a while ago, but we saw already the elimination of Big Bam, and if FCY also loses the series, that's both Vietnam representatives in the play-ins gone, only leaving Cerberus Esports in the group stage. So a little bit unfortunate really for one of the more budding regions on the APAC scene. But in the meantime, you know, we welcome more faces now here to APAC. It's not SCA anymore like the circuit was last year. We have South Asia, we're gonna have Oceania in the group stage, and I'm loving what we're seeing. There's gonna be adjustments, there's gonna be more competition, and it really proved that more and more regions are included here in the VCT circuit.
Inclusion is what we want, right? To be able to see
It's 2022,
how far,
man. What do you expect?
Yeah.
No
how
surprise.
far all of these regions can push each other to the limit and, you know, reach that next evolution. You know, it's always what's good for us since all of the regions are intertwined. They're connected by land, or, you know, they're just near each other. We gotta stick together as APAC here, right? And get each other in that next level.
What a pep talk, Astra. I feel so inspired after your words. Thank you so much. You're gonna heal the world just by your casting, man. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, brother. Oh, okay.
Let's get back into this one. Look at FCY though. This is how they win those pistol rounds. Hard aggress, hard willingness to push, but Global Esports anticipating this. Sets up the turret, a bit of a trap. SK Rossi with one, and Skills will get another. It's 4v3. Global Esports, they're anticipating some of the tendencies here of Fancy United. Hellranger though, might get surprised but not taken down. But yes, I can. As of yet, Paranoia is there. SK Rossi is coming, but he misses the shots one more time. And yes, I can will still stay on alive. It's 3v3 now. He's gonna go for more. Yes, I can. The rally got through. Kill rest will fall on down. Kappa will get one. Three already for the Viper. And that spike is down. Utter chaos towards this green side.
Man, this Viper just cannot stop squirming inside or on the B long. And it's helped them actually take absolutely no damage and get, what, 3K already? That's pretty dang nutty. Now, they spotted where Skills is, and they just press tab, check out the combat report. They would know that he is very, very
30 seconds left.
And he's going to be the one to try to pick up the spike, deal with the 1 versus 2, and save the round for Global Esports. But that's probably not going to happen here. Although this turret might give him a little bit of entryway as he tries to come out through B main. Not going to happen this time, good sir. And Fancy you pick up the round with from the heels of Yes I Can's performance.
I mean, nice try there with the turret. And just another of those nice try Global Esports rounds. SK Rossi, what happened there? I'd love to see his POV just to see exactly what angle he took. But that Paranoia it was still timed enough for him to peek it out, get that takedown. And just because he failed to get that kill, Yes I Can instead popping off. And it looked to be Global Esports prepared for it. When it becomes chaos, FCY, that's where they thrive, and pistol win is the momentum that they need.
Now, riding on the coattails of this one. Is Golden just... Oh, okay, they're attacking. I thought he was going to just, like, ride right into the site immediately. SK Rossi, though, with the shorty. Short on the distance. His presence has given them enough leeway to just plant down the spike.
Take flight.
Now, everybody on the Global Esports roster playing the close angle as they are holding shorties in tow. But this drone, leaving nothing to the imagination. BMB already on the case, clearing up the rest of the angles here. Now they know that Global has ran all the way, far, far away from this site itself. And Skills, yeah, they're got like 4 peaks.
So many people watching. I was like, hey, I'm shy, please don't look at me. Flawlessly done though by FCY. And the thing is, when you don't have that duelist, you actually don't really have a player who can be over ambitious in terms of the kit. So you can see it here for Fancy United right now on the defense. Easier on the retake, knowing that Global Esports is around the site. Not only that, they're gonna be swinging more or less together from these different angles just because of the composition. So for Fancy United, I'm wanting to see what more they can bring to the table as Global Esports have the guns, those suppresses, those trademarks from the KO, from the chamber. There's a reason why this composition is being experimented on to success in, I believe, EMEA. And right now, Fancy United trying to bring a bit more of a different flavor here as we get into another round.
They're going to be pressed for luck here. Oh, that shock dart actually connects and puts Yes I Can to danger levels in terms of HP. IZ now able to scan a bit and actually have an inkling of what is to come. He's actually going straight for mid here. Does he have a recon dart or anything? No, not really. Global Esports now just charging right in. Ooh, the timing on that TP straight in the face of SK Rossi. No way, Jose, not this time, good sir. We are going to be left into a 5 versus 5 on the retake. Nothing to be lurking on the Fancy U squad as they are just corralling in, pushing towards their own spawn, and will try to come through. BMV a bit too ambitious there, as he didn't wait for his teammates to come in to give him assistance.
Yeah, but the first wave is true here from Global Esports. We saw the teleport coming closer, and SK Rossi getting too high. He will get one of the spots. Kappa on the board. Killer S is there, but it's 2v1, and Kills did set up the dance once already. Kappa though with the crash, the takedown, and Kappa no Kappa here. It is just real frags from the Sova. 8-7. Another win for Global Esports. At least getting the third round in this third round of the second half.
Revealing area.
Oh, wrong read there for sure for Fancy U. They tagged one. Thought that Global Esports will back away. No, they didn't actually double check if they were going to commit after that drone expired. And oh boy, they lose the site. But to be fair for Fancy U, was the bonus. They did some economic damage, and that's good enough for, at least for now. Global Esports still have the advantage. We don't have SK Rossi on the operator anymore because he's going to be reaching and grabbing up into the site. And as this drone clears out the rest of B long, Global Esports, they can decide to charge right in as SK Rossi now in front of everything.
I'd love to see more patience here from Fancy United. They have a myriad of utilities, especially for the retake. It's all about losing them to an efficient margin. But as I ask for patience, we get the rush instead. Global Esports already a very quick default towards that B site. Wall is set on up. Fancy United, they're not that prepared for the retake. The flank is real though. It's a heavy stab from in behind. Alarm bot already saying hello. Set up from skills, and you even put down the turret while inside the smoke. Up top though, Ace Rolla called out by Kappa! And the Sova of all people seeing that one coming. But FCY is not done. It's 3v2 as high as he gets to. Kappa though suppressed. He gets seen. And Killer S with another one. It's a 3K for the KO. Knockouts abound. That would have been a great hold there from Global Esports, but FCY, they still push through.
What? How? That was a 3-man lurk where it seems like Fancy U were fumbling to get any form of map control or any form of B long control. They TP with Acerola. He got way high up, gets spotted by Kappa, shut down, and it was up to Killers to actually pick up the 3K, which he does. My goodness, Killers, the hero for the Fancy U Vietnamese team. If it wasn't for him, yeah, I shudder to think what would have happened.
This is another one of those welcome to APAC, welcome to SEA moments. And Global Esports, they've already heard this greeting too many times, but they still fall for it in this instance. Isrola, first kill through this gate. Right under the nest. Killer S also wants to play the aggress. Skills don't seem, but not taken on down. Kappa now catching out the Omen. Killer S is still so ambitious. He's the one who becomes the security guard here. He's waiting for someone to try and get through without a visa. As we get the Nassar's thrown out over Shockers there to zone out the opposition. Global Esports is actually basically forced here by FCY to use utilities early on just to get some space. Killer S there for the takedown. Skills right now with the ambush. EMBC trades it back.
I hate
those there. 2v2 straight. It's still the combat here. Getting up close and personal. Golu will win it. And this time, Global Esports able to stand and face off against the opposition. One more for Golu. Drops down there first, Asterai.
That was hella weird from BMV. Like, he had like 5 bullets and he was running right in, expecting that Golu's gonna drop down. That's not gonna happen, man. absolutely not gonna happen.
ये लोग भी आ रहे
That trademark spotting nothing because BMV is deactivated.
predictable
Sakan is making a lot of footsteps here, but
predictable
maybe he can actually close the distance.
Enemy remaining.
time
Boom.
भी waste किया
Spike down
One
B.
more.
spike भी drop
10
No time.
seconds left.
Kappa
Awareness
Savar.
देखो उसकी.
He might have to go for the kill here. It's either he
They are
sticks
like just
or he gets killed.
running.
And he looks the wrong way.
Oh god.
Yes, I
Why
can.
would he go?
Just vote him for
Oh,
president
really?
already. That's a
That was
slogan and a
close.
half. As Fancy United
Spiky
gets a
guard
very
करेगा
sports
ना,
clutch.
common sense.
The Viper timing
Wow.
that perfectly, Asarai. What a round.
Time नहीं है तो ये
What a round. I mean, that was awkward that they actually tried to play separate from each other. They knew it was a 2 versus 1. They were trying to
Enemy
overread the
remaining.
situation and get exceedingly punished for it. They were probably thinking that Yes I Can would have just played very far into the A site, and that's well and all, but I don't know. They tried to play it from the high ground when they were kind of middle ground on both sides.
This is just what I want to say. They shouldn't be expecting him to be later on the rotate. They should be expecting him to be the one to catch out the ones putting the spike down, knowing the timer. And for global esports, it's just again one of those critical errors that problematizes some of their games. And if I were to be completely honest, again, I always talk about that these guys love the strat book. You can see that their executions are there, but you can only go so far with a complicated strat book or with a comfortable setup and still mess up some of the core fundamentals of the game. So really here, I mean, I'm no arena player, I'm no pro player, but by this point, you know, for global esports, that's the heartbreaker because there's so many of these situations for the past 2 days we've seen that they should win those rounds, but they don't because they make a critical miss or a critical error just like that.
Now we'll see how they fare out here because there's a 3-man contention from the rest of the Fancy U team. Acerola comes in, but the positive net trades coming through. But Killers, oh my goodness, the shot's actually connecting. Goal is so low. They will have that resurrection, and BMV is gonna get overwhelmed. This was on a thrifty, by the way.
Relatively thrifty. It's like, you know, like lesser. But that now on the other side is a positive for global esports. You know, I talked about one of their weaknesses so far. That's one strength they built today. Be ready for those kind of rushes. Be ready for those kind of antics. And Fancy United throwing away, in all honesty, an arsenal they had there just by playing into the global esports setup. They should be more responsible about those kind of rounds. They know that global esports will struggle with a less survive on everyone there. So now, look, the shoe is on the other foot, Asarai, a reversal of fortunes, and it's global esports with the gun advantage instead.
Yeah, that was so awkward too, because again, when you're trying to push through, that top 2 control is so important. Acerola finally gets something, and wait, he does, but does get traded by his teammate. BMB is down, dusted. This is making global esports second guess about where they have to go. Now, they decide to just push in onto the B site. Heizy will hold the angle here, but he's already used his ultimate. Acerola finds SK Rossi. It's a drop weapon. They can slowly creep up now. And if Heizy can make sure where the rest of the squad are, they at least can figure out where they have to deal with the rest of the global members. But Kappa does not give him that luxury, and his 3 versus 3 goes back to square number 1 with the retake forcibly put into Fancy U's hands.
Global esports have decided to group on up more or less together. Kappa, the only one that's a little ambitious. He does get punished there. Cannot be repeated by anyone else. Yes, I can. Making the Marshall matter from above. Goalie with a surprise. Tries to go for the second, but the Marshall up close. Still gets the damage done anyway. And now it's 2v1. Viper Spit is committed also. Hellranger trying to play the guessing game. 6 bullets left. 1-0. And here comes the Omen peeking at the right time. Ace Rolla timing that one perfectly. And what is up with this game, Asarai? This time it's a real thrifty. And Fancy United on the lesser buy taken away from Global. What's going on? The past 3 rounds have been quite a fiesta to say the least.
Now it works.
It's a party.
Oh my goodness. Now it actually works that push on mid finds the value for Fancy U there, and well, Global Esports, they will have the the money to still purchase somehow. Actually,
plant हुआ है.
this is one of the weirder buys. Like the Spectre, Bulldog, and then SK Rossi with the Operator. So this is a little weird, but we have seen him make this work. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, SK Rossi has been whipping shots on the pistols, but not too much on the operator. So I do like confidence still to buy it here.
No,
It's one of the,
it's
I'd say, testaments of global esports. Something they can rely on in a pinch. Fancy United, they hear the thunder of the sniper and will decide to back on away from those more open angles. So you can see for FCY, they're not over eager this time. They've learned their lesson, back on away, scout around with the Al drone instead.
He spotted like 4, right? So
Yeah.
he would know that there shouldn't be anybody on mid for the most part. Killjoy ultimate has been utilized. That will flush about everything on the site except for maybe both left and right of top rafters. And yeah, there's nothing Fancy can really do other than just forfeit it. And this is everything that Global Esports would want now, because now they have the good position. They got the good advantage. And Heisey and the rest of the Fancy squad will have to play the close contact. It is equal trading. Heisey hits the shot. SK Rossi patiently waits, but nobody biting on the angle that he wants to contest here.
I'm watching out for Hellranger though. Instead, he's already on site. And if he can surprise anyone from the FCY side, but he jumps for the spike. And is he gonna go for the teleports? What a steal here from Hellranger! The thing is, Fancy United, they have committed their defenses towards A. So it's a mad scramble, giving Global Esports a chance. So Hellranger, what a
Come on,
cheeky mic
Rossi.
you got there, good sir.
I know you can
SK
do it.
Rossi though, this is a long
Nice
angle he can
position.
use here,
Yeah,
as
marega
right.
banda.
If 1v1 peaks without jumping, could have been the shot.
चले कर लो.
And again though, Fancy United respecting the Global
No
Esports
man,
arsenal, and now they're gonna go together through the Poison Cloud and more.
Still have to clear out this angle here. They're very aware of the SK Rossi threat with that operator, but now they play it
Nice
close.
shot.
Hellranger's gonna have to play with his teammate
Oh,
here. SK Rossi tries to go for the
Hellranger.
flick,
Hella
but
uske
he says it might
saath.
be too late. That's gonna be Yes I Can, clutching out the round,
Yaar, the common mistake.
putting Fancy U
Every time
closer to victory
दो
in this
जने
first
तुम
map.
लोग
And
एक
look,
साथ coordinate
spray
करके
jeep.
खेलो.
Woo! Hey, that's ours! You right
यार,
that.
late rounds में ऐसे
my
mistake
pride?
नहीं कर सकते अपन.
Oh no! No, Dax, no!
I'll give you the one there, and that's it.
Difference between
Come
us and
on.
other teams.
Hashtag Pinoy Pride, even though there's no Pinoy teams playing right now.
The sprays though, the real winner there. Okay, back to the point though. Yes, I Can has been crazy. 20 kills,
Still
him on the
winnable, still
rifle.
winnable.
Him in close quarters, honestly, has been one of the most unstoppable
Never
forces
say die.
of Fancy United. And it's a tough task for SK Rossi to make that shot happen. He already got the one. First Global Esports had that numbers advantage. A good try, albeit didn't really work on outs. You know, the problem is, since they lost that round, they don't have the guns on, well, everyone here. Spot out though from VZ, keeping an eye out in the middle. Global Esports trying to get through to that A site, and in all honesty, this might be the better take because it's only Heisey really watching out for that initial contact.
We'll see how this follows through. As I mentioned, Heisey is the only one that's going to be spotting anything here, but it's kind of awkward for him to wide swing anything now because he doesn't have the position anymore, and now he hears every single footstep clattering onto the site. Golu has plugged it up, but he's checking everything and finds absolutely nothing. So maybe that 5 versus 5 retake here. SK Rossi holds the high angle. BMB not expecting, gets shut down. This is a good start for the round for Global Esports. Acerola out of nowhere coming in with Yes I Can on the flank. Heisey spots out SK Rossi, and now they got nowhere to go. Skills though, all right, I like it, but I don't like it enough. Kappa, there it is, final blow. 3K for Acerola, and fairly painless round for Fancy. I thought Global had something there.
Kappa, why are you running like that? Did you see him? He was just like trying to get the hell out of there. I don't know why I found it so amusing. But you said it, Fancy United now on map point.
What can he
And
do?
that was such a big moment for Heisey, because I really feel like someone was tracking him. I think it was SK Rossi seeing a bit of the battle with the operator, but Heisey still making work. Acerola also, the right angle there. And really, the controllers here from Fancy United stepping on up when they need to. The most 20 kills for both the Viper and the Omen. And these retakes, you can see the oppressive nature of this kind of composition. It's not just you know, that 0 point that's gonna be bothered. Those mini alarm bells, the trademarks there for Chamber, but some paranoia plays, the Viper lineups,
This is
and
good.
of course the smokes in the end.
They're
Fancy United just
approaching
have
B
so many
Here,
tools to use, and skills now is the first to fall as
Starting
Acerola
over
will get the
there.
peak. The aggress is
Tilt
there,
होता है
and
भाई,
Fancy
tilt.
United, they wanna
Tilt से
already
बुरा लगता
cut
है.
off the jugular in this map.
Did they just run
तो भी ऐसे
through A main?
इनसे icebox
Just
हो ही
like
नहीं रहा है.
literally just
I don't know why.
sprinted through and have gotten huge amount of control
Loadout ही नहीं कर
through
रहा है.
here. This has forced Global Esports to kind of just double guess. But check this
I
out.
don't know what
Hell
was
Rangers
he
got a
doing.
nice little
Ranger is a
vantage point on top of the sites here. As he gives all the information to his teammates. Yes, I can.
All is
Barely finds the third person coming in. And I don't think they know that there's like 4 people now onto the B side. It's all about that crucial control.
planted.
Fancy, or Killers rather,
Nice.
does not get the pick off. As Kid Rossi
Nice.
gets a
Nice
couple of kills,
one.
waves, mind you.
That's what
Fancy's
I'm talking
aggressive take on the A
That's
main
what
actually
I'm-
backfires into this one.
Easy though. Operator specialist on the other side. Now, Kappa up top,
Have
time
the
though
trade.
ticking. Global Esports.
One enemy remaining.
Make it Doomsday on the other side. Hell Ranger though, finding yes I can. All left now to High Z here. Looks high, misses wildly. In behind, Hell Ranger there for the pinch. 2 versus 1, goes for the rifle instead. Really, this is so difficult for FCY. I don't think they're gonna be able to make it. Time is ticking, and Kappa wins it out in CQC yet
Let's
again. He's
go,
been pretty
G fighting
primed
Golte.
with some of the pistols, and the Phantom even gets the operator for Global, and that was close. That was very close. At least he stays alive, and you give it now to SK Rossi.
अभी momentum अपने हाथ में है.
Finds it before the spike explodes, or actually doesn't even reach him.
Easy होता
And
है,
that
easy.
was good timing from Global. They actually were able to sneak through on the B site as a full 4. They probably just expected Kappa to be there, but because of the lack of information from Yes I Can, that
ये close out कैसे
you saw Fancy You just read the situation incorrectly and get punished.
तो ये round गया
all
तो
throughout.
economy down.
With that, Fancy You now call their other timeout. They know that they're in the danger zone here now. So if they lose this one, their economy might not be able to carry them over for the next few, which means they're going to be looking at overtime if they lose this one too.
And they're at the end of this highway anyway, Asterai. They just need to get one more round, pay that toll basically of that 1 round
Yeah,
scoreline,
that's it,
and we move to the next one. The Global Esports is still fighting back. They were put into quite a pinch there, as Fancy United got so much map control for free. But they still navigated through to that B site. They had that kind of setup. They were able to anticipate everyone else pushing. At the very end of that, you know, Kappa, he's been really stepping on up here. A far cry from yesterday's performance. SK Rossi also, he's got a better start overall, and you know, Global Esports has had more positive momentum in this series compared to their last one. The score doesn't lie, in Fancy United, they have had that step up, especially Yes I Can and High Z. Now though, just need to hold off Global Esports one more time. SK Rossi whipping out the blades, also has the up in hand. He does get tagged though, he is known immediately. Blaze is safe for now, shotguns fly on by, Cloudburst there for the cover. Global is getting on site. Fragment gets damage onto Golu.
Not enough, not in center. So Golu actually still survives with a healthy demeanor here, Dak. Ooh, that pixel angle is going to be the SK Rossi, but doesn't need it because he's got the flick in his genes, in his veins, mind you. 4 versus 4 on the retake now. Nothing on the close. It's all about what is right in front of them. Golu's right there, gets impaled by the operator shot. And all the delay tactics is working now here for the Global Esports roster. The long lurk from Hell Ranger will provide some dividends. That ultimate will clear out the site, but they have to ready, and they still have time. They should be able to get this, but no, never mind. Killers, oh, we'll get pushed back, and Global Esports, one more before we get into overtime.
We're not done? Global Esports.
Not at all.
They want to make it not done. You said it yourself, Aster, right there. Big props to those skills. He has been so disciplined with his nano swarms. He always makes sure that for the post plant they are ready. You can see it in any
One
single
enemy
A
remaining.
site take from him. Not only that, Kappa, he's been getting the frags, so it means he's getting these Hunter's Furies. And he has just the right timing there. It was half, it got dicey, but Global Esports did not panic. And this will now settle on in one more. We go into overtime. An early commit with a Viper Spit because Fancy United not the best buy. Tour de Force should come on out from BFBZ as well. Limiting choices here of Global Esports, but one big push towards this A side that can bring Global to more success and into another set of rounds perhaps.
Acerola, the only, actually the second rifler for the Fancy U team here. Yeah, next one is Yesakan with the Bulldog, but you can really see the emphasis that they have right now for what's little left for them. I like the movement and the placement of that trap as it gives BMV a bit of free space onto mid. The wall a bit too presumptuous. He can actually just call his teammate to just throw that down so that he can still have that vision on a tiny little hole underneath on tube. As Kappa tries to clear out the rest here, might not be even to spot out Pipe. This is good. So if this Reconer doesn't spot out Acerola, he's gonna have such a wonderful position to just shoot people coming in from the Fancy, from the Global Esports team.
Man, this Rossi burning the dash there.
30 seconds left.
Running out of time. And again, keep an eye out on this Omen. Paranoid though will get connection. It's not spotted as the killer with a takedown. And Acerola will finally shoot his shot. Heisey on the board and Fancy United! They're shutting the door on Global Esports. The lockdown will get broken before it even happens. It's Hell Ranger going down. And the Fancy United, they will wrap up this game 13-11.
And they did not clear the angles that they needed to. Well, just to be able to figure out where to actually look. You saw the burning eyes of the Global Esports team. They were looking straight and to the right, thinking that that drone has already cleared up on pipes, which it did not. Maybe it was into the favor of the I think Skills, the Killjoy that should have been able to clear him, but he was very late from the rest of the team that's already charging right in. And then that's when Fancy just set up the crossfire, worked out fantastically for them. And that ends us into 13-11. That was so close to being pushed into overtime too.
Yeah, the great rally there from Global Esports near the end, but Fancy United, they get the job done. They got momentum, especially in the second half, winning out that pistol. 24 kills though for Acerola, taking that MVP. And I feel like there were those moments really for Global Esports, an unfortunate assumption that it was clear. They threw the dart on away, just didn't really spot the Omen in time. On the other side though, FCY Rossi showing off his operator prowess. Kappa though, I'd say a big player really in this game, but overall, Fancy United, I'm loving what I see from them in this kind of competition. They have utilized more of their utilities here on the defense. You can see the retake is just so perilous for Global Esports, so stifling with the suppressors, with the slow orbs, and more the paranoia plus the smokes. There's just so many ways for FCY to screw over Global Esports on those retake scenarios.
It really feels that way. Global Esports just couldn't figure out a thing to do. I think for the most part as well, their Fancy U's Killers was one of my favorite striking forces for this Vietnamese team. Like, you check out the highlights here, it's FCY Rossi at the start. He really makes the waves, but it seems like they tend to forget that it's not just the one-man army. It does not work out here in APAC because a lot of these teams play close-knit together, and you saw that work out. Yes, you saw Killers maybe become a bit too antsy from time to time, but he always has that one teammate of his that will be looking to help him out and refrag. But we never see that from like FCY Rossi and Hell Ranger for a majority of these rounds, which has led them to, again, be just pushed into clutch situations, which is kind of weird.
And I mean, to give credit to Global Esports, it was few and far between compared to almost nothing yesterday. So you can see that they have adjusted, but it's still not enough. There were rounds where it honestly felt like, it was very deathmatchy. They just dueled in the middle. Somehow the thrifty wins happen, and there were some moments where you don't really need to fight that between these two guys. But when going got tough, it was really Fancy United who got tougher. I have to say that late rally by Heisey with the operator, that was quite a force to be reckoned with. And in the end here, just the way they set things up with Acerola and co, take down the confidence to just keep on fighting Global Esports. It's really what puts Global Esports to the test, and Fancy United will just fail them at that mark and take that map instead.
Yeah, with all of that, one more game will dictate if, or actually not one more game, but it is very close to see who will get eliminated here, Global Esports, or can they push us to game number 3? We'll be back, guys, after a quick break. When we do come back, we'll see the fate of these two teams.
the catch and he's the net. How quickly do we all forget to honor these small policies, my darling? You are the empress queen, man. Respect or he'll neglect. You are the wind beneath the wings. You are the season. You are the reason why this world can breathe. Giving sons eyes to see. Daughters' dreams to believe anything less than the best for you is high treason, queen. Hurry up quick, El Jefe's coming soon. Sit up straight when she enters the room. Be enthused, but don't look too amused. This is her queendom, please respect her rule. Hurry up quick, El Jefe's coming soon. Sit up straight when she enters the room. Be enthused, but don't look too amused. This is a queendom.
I just gotta flex, flex, flex on the lean. I just wanna rap, rap, rap to the beat. I just wanna back, cause I'm mean. I just gotta go back, I'm a freak. Gotta go. I just wanna rap to the beat.
Move of emotion, they drunk at their problems, they always on road and they stunt. She knows just cause she is the same. She's trying to stop playing games. Move of emotion, they drunk at their problems, they always on road and they stunt. She knows just cause she is the same. She's trying to stop playing games. Where the people at, what they really wanna know? Who's your lovers and who are your bros? Who are the enemies you do keep close? Who are the people that you shouldn't know? Where the people at, what they really wanna know? Who's your lovers and who are your bros? Who are the enemies you do keep close? Who are the people that you shouldn't know?
I just gotta flex, flex, flex on the lean. I just wanna rap, rap, rap to the beat. I just wanna back, cause I'm mean. I just gotta go back, I'm a freak. Gotta go. I just wanna rap to the beat. The chains, my vest, my watch, my belt, my cheese, my house, my sneakers, my blouse. I just party hard, popping the one in the chart. I've already won, babe, I didn't even start. Flexing on ya, flexing on me, flexing on ya, flexing on me. I just gotta go, but I wanna hold on. I can't let you go, but I gotta stay strong.
Unless you heard it from me, then you ain't heard it from me. Got it from me, all the energy extra. You don't wanna see me with the hitters. Generation.
The fate of global esports now rides on this series. They've lost the first game. If they lose this one, they're out of here on the APAC Challengers. My name is Asarai. With me now is Dax. And again, game number 2. It's all on the line.
Yeah, I just feel the pressure already. Fancy United, they want to stay on alive, keep that Vietnam representation on. And after that, well, I'd say neck and neck matchup. They're on Icebox. It's going to be a bigger task, honestly, for Fancy United as we get into Ascent. So let's look at stats, though, to start things off. Fancy United, they lost out last time on Ascent versus No Namers. Overall, it's been a difficult map. So there really is a chance for Global Esports now to pick up their map pick to try and equalize here, Asarai.
They really can. We did get that selection of maps that is, I think, fairly good for both teams. So it doesn't feel like there's going to be one above the other. Ascent, I don't know how this is going to work, but at least how they interact with each other, it really has been the proactiveness of FanCU. They have dropped a couple of rounds here. We did see it already with that 13-11, but a lot of these rounds that Global Esports have won didn't feel as convincing as I would have wanted to see, to be honest. Especially with how dominant they play in their own specific region with BCC. This time, it seems like they're very shaky, even though it is a close encounter with the FUE squad on Icebox.
Yeah, Fancy United. These guys, when you talk about convincing, there were more rounds that they just took by storm, surprised Global Esports, and just went for that hard aggress anyways. Very scrappy though, to say the least. A few decisions where it's like, okay, you might not have necessarily needed to do that, and it blew up in their face just because of that. But then, this is a map where Global Esports have really built their renown, I have to say, on their own South Asian circuit. This is a map they have an 83% win rate in their lifetime. And I really feel like this is one of the better maps that they can push forward coming into this whole series. Because in all honesty, I'm looking at what map number 3 is going to be, and it's Haven, where Global Esports also had that international success before back in LCQ. In the meantime, for FCY, well, they're going to be contesting that as hard as possible. Still also going to be pretty even matchup because they have a good win rate there as well, closer versus no namers. So overall, chances are there for both sides, but I think we kind of have to talk about the elephant in the room here. Sometimes, again, Global Esports, SK Rossi, amazing op shot, but it comes down to sometimes a pistol, missing those kind of situations, a little too eager, and it's either they have to reel him back, tell him to stay with the team, or the whole squad needs to commit with him. It has to be one or the other. It can't just be half and half, and that desync is costing Global Esports lives in these rounds.
I mean, if that's the case, might as well just double down and actually play with the other. If SK Ross is going to be aggressive, just help him out. We've seen a lot of teams actually do that, and it does provide dividends, especially if you attack from multiple angles. It will pressure your opponents, and it feels like that is the winning factor here for the Global Esports team. That's why it was such a close encounter on that Icebox map, is because we saw them actually fight those closer angles. It's because when SK Rossi plays with Hellranger or anyone else on the Global Esports team, that's when they start to shine. But when he's alone, he can be very hit or miss. He can hit those shots, which is great, but once he doesn't, that's when they start losing control in that specific map where SK Rossi gets knocked off.
Yeah, they need to give him room for error, and let's not forget that green box play where he shoots the jump peak, and the replay comes from Fancy United, and suddenly Hellranger's there to make the crossfire happen. Those are the kind of plays that Global Esports needs to replicate over and over and over again to get this victory against Fancy United. And talking about Fancy United on the other side, I'm still such a big fan of what they brought out there on Icebox. They were really doing their research all across the globe, trying to play it in their own way, and they just have just so much aggression in them in the first place. But once we now get into Ascent, we have seen a preview of it yesterday versus No Namers, and what we saw there is sometimes, again, the flanks are the problem, like you mentioned, Asteroid, because they don't really run those sentinels. It's mostly the initiators and the controllers that come into the battlefield instead.
Yeah, I feel like they've already what's the word here, realized their mistake. They probably will put BMV again on the chamber. If not, if they put him on a breach, I think that's going to be awkward. Oh yeah, maybe even Killjoy actually wouldn't be too bad of a thing there. But I actually been liking BMV's chamber. It's not as explosive, but the utility usage does allow them for a lot more coverage. And I argue again that Killjoy does have to double down on a site, but at least with the trademark from the chamber, you can leave it, and unless it's smoked out, it's not going to get cleared ASAP or it's not going to be traversed by anybody if they don't have that smoke.
Yeah, that's a fair point, and especially 2 alarm bots are better than 1. I feel like it's a little unfortunate for Killjoy. You have that alarm bot, it gets vulnerable, and okay, it tells you they're there, it gives them the times 2 debuff, but what happens if no one's peeking it? Compared to the trademark where there are 2 of them, you get a slow field, and even though there's no one there to peek it out, it still affects the rotation, right? So utility diff, guys, utility diff. And the fact of the matter is, he did whip out that chamber a while ago on Icebox. Wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe do it again, especially learning the lessons versus No Namers. Maybe 2 players I really want to talk about right now are Isarola as well as Yes I Can, because these guys have been absolutely hot. Isarola, especially yesterday, being one of those key players to get the kills. Heisey also, want to mention, very high on the frags. But between those 2-3 people, they're the ones that have some of the biggest impact here for the Fancy United squadron in the APAC scene so far.
They really have been. I've been loving the playstyle of Acerola. He really does embody a very sneaky Omen as that controller, and in Killers, he plays this very CSGO-esque with the flash in hand, and it actually works out. The only other player that we've seen that work with is Onyx Severin, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, we're here on the agent selection, and
Still sticking with it.
yeah, they are. That's a risk. Okay, interesting.
It's just all about adjusting that playstyle instead. In the meantime, though, Global Esports, I do believe it's a classical composition that they're running. You, of course, have SK Rossi on that jet. But the initiators are abound for both sides, and we'll see Sova Breach on one, while on the other, for Fancy United, we're going to be getting that Sky, if I am not mistaken. A lot of smokes, though, going to be available here yet again. The double control setup from FCY. And maybe this time they can put someone, perhaps the Astra, to watch out the flanks. But on the flip side, Global Esports have done their research, watched that matchup versus No Namers yesterday. Some vicious plays perhaps from SK Rossi might be more fruitful here on Ascent compared to, well, the more open areas and the more open sightlines of Icebox a while ago.
Well, maybe that's what the doctor ordered. This Haven map did push Griffin Esports, the team that beat Global Esports here, 13-11 on Haven. And it was a very, very close endeavor. Actually, more convincing than it was on Icebox. So maybe with that, Global Esports can find the momentum to bring it all around town and bring it all the way back. And I make a mistake. It's actually Ascent.
I told you it was Ascent. That's right.
My mind is shattered.
You're looking to the future. You're anticipating a map 3 that hasn't happened yet.
Well, maybe because I give too much respect and hope and
that's right.
faith
You're
into the Global
leaking the
Esports
script.
roster.
You're leaking the script. Don't tell anyone! Guys, nothing is scripted. This is all the action. But there, Hellranger is planting, and it's SK Rossi rather with a takedown onto Heisey. So Global Esports already looking to navigate in more closer quarters, and that extra bit of space that Global Esports can actually get here. Very helpful versus FCY. Killers, though, guys got goal response, and here comes the retake, that's right.
Here comes the retake. They've used a couple of smokes already to separate the A main from the A site. Plant on the spike just to taunt the rest of the GES squad here. The smoke dissipates. Killers is kind of frantically just chasing it down. He spotted one already. The crossfire is too good. They're left with skills, no utility left into the chamber, and he's got to keep defusing. Oh, he believed in his Brody. He believed in his teammate, and he actually didn't untap that spike. And Fancy United get the clutch on the pistol.
That is hard. I want to see that again. That was just absolute belief on the yes I can. His name says it all, Asarai. His name says it all. Yes, he can. Yes, he did. 3K there to save the day, to give him that pistol, but the retake really from Fancy United. The clear out was real, and the fact that Global Esports couldn't really stabilize themselves on that site, it helped out FCY basically to search and destroy. They navigated on the round, figured out where Global Esports was playing that post plant, and as we get the paranoia play, Acerola overrun! Global Esports, the force buy is real from 3 here, Aftershock to get in the way. Fancy United, they do have the sack. Golu, how did he get Nanoswarm onto Heisey? What a burn, what a takedown. It's suddenly 5v3 and Global Esports still confident despite that pistol loss.
Pretty sure Fancy weren't actually expecting the force buy to come out through Global here, and it works out fantastically well for them. Killers and BMB, 1 for 1 in terms of the kills. This is good. They've equalized the numbers into the 3 versus 3 here. They don't have the smoke, only the cloud burst. Kappa is good because there is that big gap through all of it. Golu now hides on Hell, will create the pinch. Killers know he was there, and now he can actually start defusing this. They should just start defusing right now because they're not going to stop this, right?
He can
he actually make it?
He can stick this. He can stick this, and he's done so. He's done so. He got away with it. That's right. The very Esports clutch there for Fancy United again and Global Esports. What's going on? They planted it there, but they were ill prepared. They didn't notice that there's an angle where he could hide in.
the only thing that stopped Fancy from committing to the defuse was Fancy thought that there was like more people on hell, because you mentioned it.
Remaining.
That was an awkward plan. GS were like, oh no, we made a huge mistake. We've already forced bot, and they've called the early timeout. They knew, Dax, that they botched that round for reals. And do they have the money? They have some for the Spectres at least, and they're gonna buy up against a more substantial buy of the Fancy United team.
Yeah, the rushdown is strong. But man, that was a ball dropped into the abyss there, to put it lightly. A critical error, to say the least. And for Global Esports, if they're going to be committing more members there over to the main angles, they should be planting it in more open areas. I know the fact that they're trusting Golu. He is one of the most really amazing players here of the Global Esports side. And he's only one guy in Fancy United. Did you see how that retake started? The double peak immediately taken on down, 1-for-1 trade in simultaneous motion. And I think that's one thing we've noticed from Fancy United. They love to play in a sense of togetherness also in these retake scenarios. And they're able to utilize their numbers to basically isolate the fights in 1-for-1 situations. That the duel is actually going to happen. You don't even need to go for the transfers because Fancy United trusts each other on the mechanical aspect. And that's been one big testament to their success so far in these 2 clutch rounds for them. Spike being planted. The rushdown again, still successful for Global Esports. But here we go again. Let's see how FCY makes the retake happen for a 3rd time.
There's 2 lurking here on top mid. They spot out BMV. He's done for already. And this will allow Skills and Golu just go back to where your teammates now lie.
Here.
They can only hold A short for a tad bit longer. I think the numbers would favor actually FCY as well as again the weapons department. There it is. They've already have the defuse on that spike. They're still blind into this, and they haven't stopped it at all. Now they have Acerola getting the attention, and that's enough.
They got away with it again. They even get the kills. 3-0 Asteroid. The bonus is 1. And 3rd time is not the charm for Global Esports. It was a bit more fight. They stopped the first defuse. But getting on halfway and also blocking those sidelines. This is the power of the FCY composition basically. They have that Asteroid, they have that Omen, and Acerola, he wants duel. But look at the trust. Killer S even still gets those takedowns. This is a familia for FCY. They are just enchanted right now. And I am honestly speechless in how they win this. And they're not done. Yes, I can. The slogan of 2022 BCT. The push is real. Killer S has already gotten 3. It's all up to Hell Ranger, and we're done for the round. 4-0. Speed.
I am Speed. Ka-chow.
You already did this a while ago. You did this segment a while ago.
I will do it again.
You don't get to repeat segments.
Because it works, all right? It works. Oh, fine. I'll use it. I use another one. I'll live my life quarter mile at a time. Family.
I want to cry for so many reasons, including your speeches. But let's just get back to it. Operators are out. And, Killer S here. He wants to contest that middle. I like darts, but neither better Cloudburst to answer. And Fancy United now, they have basically stopped the Global Esports Express. GE here has changed up their pace. Operator for the picks. And a good start here for SK Rossi. All about the decision now. And this is interesting. Global Esports might be trying to fake out the opposition. A heavy stack looking to bother that A site. The spike is going towards B instead.
So cheeky from Acerola. You'd think that he's actually in a bad spot there, but because of that shrouded step, gets away without even a scratch or a hair out of place. Good stuff, but numbers still in the advantage of Global Esports here. They will use this. They got SK Rossi with the Blaze, and Golu somehow, some way finds out the lure coming in through mid here. You did mention how it seems that they're going to charge in for A site, but not really. A good U-shaped control here for Global Esports on that mini-map will give them much more now as they dwindle down the numbers of FCY. And Heisey, I think, is misreading the situation once again because it's B on the hit.
Though the call, the hit does get tagged on BMVC. The time now taking away for Global Esports, and they have sold. Well, wait there. Kappa even with a kill onto the breach. Spike now should
One
be planted
enemy
towards this
remaining.
B side, and SK Rossi. Oh, it's Hell Ranger actually.
Spike
Go for the shot
planted.
onto Heisey. And that's it for the round. Well played here by Global Esports. They notice that later on into rushdowns, that's where they get basically bothered by the double control setup, especially. So instead, chipping away the FCY defenses one by one, selling a side take that didn't really happen. It has allowed Global Esports now to convincingly win a round and give them some momentum in this game.
Sometimes going slow is what the doctor ordered. And Global Esports, they take a breath, they take a pace, and it worked out swimmingly for them. Acerola does not have enough time to actually hide longer than what he would want. Now he's getting flushed out, and Hell Ranger gets flushed himself. Now Acerola has a fighting chance here to keep his weapon, but inside that smoke, he can get pop shotted by Skills if he's not careful, which almost happens as he does get tagged just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And yeah, he has to buy armor again though, so or not. We'll see later on what his investments are. Still though, Fancy United, they were caught out there by Global Esports, and some really smart plays that come out from Global Esports. Again, their playbook, it's something that you have to watch out for if you've been following that South Asian region. They have these cheeky plays, they have these ways to psych you out, and of course they have the mechanical prowess, and especially SK Rossi, to try and sell it in the first place, and they're not done. Fancy United, a bit of a problem when they get this early momentum, Asteroid, is their overeagerness, and Global Esports, the perfect setup to punish it already.
Oh yeah, now that they've played a bit far back, it has been working bit by bit for the Global Esports roster. They're going to play on the contact, but Kappa just actually wiggles into the perspective of Acerola here. Good timing on the paranoia, delays even further, and maybe he shot and steps on top of that boosted spot to his left. No, he just waits to reposition. Does have his From the Shadows just in case, maybe,
should run.
that's going to be needed. Global activates his own ultimate. No counter to that. Maybe BMG has... Yeah, there we go, Aftershock. There it is. He actually counters it. Oh, swing out!
Face full of Killjoy there. Heisey with the trade. And on to A side we will go. Spike will have to drop. Yes, I can with a takedown. Hell Ranger's there, but Yes, I Can and BMVZ. They clean up nicely. Center stage up top there for Yes, I Can. The Sky just watching everyone run into that one. For Global Esports, their momentum there, that's right, heavily hampered after losing out that Spike. You could see it there. Kind of surprised after the kill from Heisey. FCY also overall being such a bother. But the bigger player there, look at this. Yes, I Can. Using the Astro Smoke, giving cover to himself, and having the perfect sightline against all those below him.
Is it me, or do I just favor the smoke being near the entrance of A Heaven, where the wall separates the open space on Heaven, right? Rather than giving the defenders just an extra smoke for them to actually use against you.
No, I feel you. I feel you that in those situations, right? Because suddenly, hey, this is fortuitous. Okay, they're not paying attention. I still think though it's because Global Esports did lose out some members early on that they scrambled to contest the Gardens instead, so they didn't have anyone to watch out for that angle. If they still had one player ready for it, that could have been a good contest versus Yes, I Can. The fact of the matter is, too much distractions in FCY. They will take that round. So it's 5-1 right now, but the pace has ground to more of a halt here. We saw a while ago, honestly, Global Esports taken for a ride by themselves and then by FCY's clutches. This time though, it's more methodical for Global Esports, and it should be more successful unless we get the clutches here. Killers will get one, but SK Rossi has the blades in response. Yes, I Can though. All the way on the other side, still snipes the kill onto Golu.
SK Rossi looking to...
Shot darts.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, the shot dart actually got him.
That's beautiful. That was I think it was a double lineup there or whatnot. Oh, it was only one actually.
Oh, that's awkward. Does he get knocked up? He does, but that's giving enough time for Heisey to come in through the Cloudburst here. Finds absolutely nothing, but the crossfire is real. Look at how much they're hammering down on fast lane.
10 seconds left.
And that's why it's called fast lane, because they die pretty fast. Skills, is he gonna think he's inside the smoke? He does! He got jebaited! The great jebait mate as Acerola clutches the round for FCY.
I think I'm a little iffy there, hopping on a round like that anyway in that kind of department. Very dicey on the time. You still need to be ready to pull that trigger.
Down B.
Global
One
Esports.
enemy remaining.
Get
Last
close
player
to the
standing.
site, but they could not hold it off. The throwing front being fodder. Skills here, surprised by Acerola. And it's 6-1 now for Fancy United. This initial momentum is one of the biggest powers of Fancy United. Many a game, they win that pistol, they start building up that lead. That is when they can build themselves up to a position that can finish off the job. But Acerola now backing on the wave. Not a swarm thrown though. We've seen this before from Golu. FCY learning their lesson though, and this time setting up closer and actually in this case on the site.
He's used everything just to reposition at the back of it. And now as the smoke dissipates, nothing will be challenging them just yet. But Global Esports, they're going to double dip. Oh, there it is.
Spike down mid.
Collateral from Killer S. And he's dropped the spike. So this is a 3-prong Gucci for him.
Ask
We'll
for
see
it.
if this Gucci will get that Gucci, you know, the dessert.
As sweet as the mochi there, but look how sweet
One
Killers
enemy
is
remaining.
on that operator. SK Rossi just doing some acrobatics. This round is basically over. You said the word double dip, and Killer S gave it to you, Asarai. What a show of force, though, from FCY right now. It was shaky there on Icebox. This time, it's a lot more convincing on Ascent, and for a map that they have quite a low win rate on, this is them proving that they can get the control. Acerola still wins the duel anyway, just golding SK Rossi to come in closer and closer. It's 7-1 now, and this Vietnamese squadron trying to keep their hopes alive here.
I gotta say,
Spike down
like, I was incredibly worried with this composition for them, but because again, they don't have that sentinel, right? And this would mean that they need to be hella proactive with how they peek out the sights, the angles. But Ascent, I think, just primarily allows you to do that. Like, usually you don't really get sneaked up on too much because of the long rotations, and like periodic peaks like that we see from Killers actually is enough to dissuade attackers from pushing in even further.
And Global Esports is showing a more straightforward style. They usually hard commit on their side takes with all of their members and more. And the one weakness that we've seen from FCY is not being basically taken advantage of here by Global Esports. And the off angles, they don't need to be covered. FCY instead happy to go for those more long-range duels anyway. But yes, I can has already fallen. But see the ambition, see how brave Killers is. Knife is out though, and kills this time. He was ready. Killers, what you doing there, good sir? Golu now with the takedown. And the
remaining.
classic Global Esports punish is real here. Should be 7-2 now. EMBZ in the middle. Dance of Death for Hasto to still try and fight on back. But at least this time, Global Esports getting the right answers at the right time. SK Roshi should be able to clean this up. There he goes. Global Esports gets one more point here.
I was mentioning just how just a little bit would give them much map control, but they took it a step further, and boy, did that step make them slip and actually lose the round in the end. That's a big one too. Like he said, he was heroic, he was brave, but this time that bravery
remaining.
was his downfall.
Sometimes bravery.
Foolish mortal.
Foolish mortal indeed. Heroics aside though, it's an ego check here, Fancy United. We saw it a while ago also, where Global Esports, they were prepared. They went for that kind of fake out play and gave them their first point. Here in the second again, the punish is still real. So that's one really good thing that Global Esports can do as a team. But when do those opportunities come? FCY has only given it up basically twice here so far, given the scoreline. Yet again now, just because they lost that late a while ago, they will be holding off in more standard fanfare instead. Gravity well though to bother the initial peak of Killers. Aldro now will scout on around, but if anyone peeks this here, the operator might be ready. The recons will from the Aldro be a bother, and SK Rossi turns around just to die. Yes, I can, with a flash peek for himself. But beyond that, it's only a 1-for-1 trade here, Asarai.
You know, I don't really react too much to destroying the drone, but that was a
You
one
should run.
flick on Killers, and it actually saw the drone straight up. That's pretty good. Is this aftershock? Ah, they go Lou. Oh no! How
It happens
far did
again.
it actually throw it? It happened again. Not like this. And there's a
30
wall
seconds
to
left.
stop them in the tracks. 30 seconds on the clock, but they might have to commit to this one, Dax.
Yeah, but EMDZ It's already returning them to sender. Golu though with the takedown. This opens up the A side here for Global Esports. Right through the smoke though. Trying to get the angle. Has to break that door later on. No high ground control whatsoever here for Global Esports. Instead, Hell Ranger now by main. Acerola trying to make that flank happen. Look us here with the operator from up top. Three-prong attack here from Fancy United. Dark cover gonna get thrown in. Hell Ranger now finally throwing out the fault line. Neither side can't give an inch here. Goludo with the kill onto the Jets. Here comes Acerola now being brave yet again. Larbot will say hello. The spray is riddle from Hell Ranger. And a great patience play here from Global Esports. They set that up well. Elaborate towards that A site. One more to make it 7-3.
That was so awkward. I thought they already committed the wall to that one. That would have
Right there.
made a lot more sense since they already knew that the Global Esports was going to commit. And then, interestingly enough, Heisey just peeked out. His decision making here has been a bit on the subpar end. And it does goes to show he's had that 8th deaths with only the 1 kill, not getting the value that I think he was expecting with this Astra. He does have a good amount of assists, but in the end, that's not enough, at least for winning some of these rounds.
Yeah, it's a far cry from his performance a while ago there on Icebox. And on the flip side, Global Esports now chipping away bit by bit against the Fancy United lead. And one of the biggest things right now is, again, they're able to set their own kind of tempo. And in that kind of post-plant, they were able to funnel FCY into the right positions there. For Fancy United, Killers has stepped on up compared to their performance last time there on the set. Yes, I can. No surprise, still fragging out alongside Acerola. But beyond that, beyond the initial heroics there from FCY, it has been more about the peak potential here, right? And I feel like if for Global Esports, they can take advantage of that a little later on. Maybe one more rushdown to end that half, just to psych out FCY, or maybe not, because Fancy United is on an eco state. A hero rifle for Acerola, a Spectre, or a Marshall perhaps for High Z. But beyond that, this is the lesser buy on the defending side.
Killers does have the blades. They've smoked up onto mid link here, and Skills, ooh, he spots him, pushing in through. Now Killers is actually committing to the fight right here. And he might be able to catch off one with the Sova drone. Oh, he actually gets away with bloody murder, and maybe find another one. Killers! He's actually sneaked up, and Global Esports did not expect that he will just double down and do what SK Rossi did to them in the previous rounds and even on that previous map. You can do it, I can do it too.
Job upgrade, Assassin instead, and SK Rossi in the meantime able to avoid the blades by dashing towards the sites. On the inside of the smoke right now, Global Esports went for that Rolling Thunder, but they are desperate to make it to be itself. It's 5v3 though. The guy who light the stairs, Skills now finally shutting down Killers. The unsolved mystery, the unsolved crime has finally been brought to justice. Skills looking for another one. Actually, he's gonna go for the Astral Form instead. So dangerous here at BMZ. He makes the aftershock work. Acerola on the board. SK Rossi trying to fight, but it's all left now to Hell Ranger in a 2v1 situation. Rifle in the hands of BMVZ. Not only that, he also has that Rolling Thunder. Will they commit it? Yes, they do. The ground quakes and Hell Ranger tries to stay all alive by the staircase. Able to get in cover in time. Fault line is there. High Z with a push, and it's gonna take down Fancy United. They just steal it away. The wrap around here on B side, ring around the Rosie. But really, Killers. The thrifty win is thanks to his knives there as right early on. What a way to just assassinate the competition.
Surely he misclicked that. Surely Skills misclicked there to go to his Astral Form. I have, like, or maybe he thought that he got the kill already, so he went like straight into the Astral Form, anticipating so that he can set up utility for his teammate. But regardless of what happened, that was a botched play there for Global Esports. Fancy you riding on the coattails of Killers, who has picked up 2 fantabulous kills with that blade of his. Speaking of which, oh, he went for the Korean dash on mid, but it's swatted away by Golu. Good stuff here from Global Esports, and they better need it right now because they do have this last round in the first half.
Yeah, no Korean stuff here, guys, because Global Esports is won against Korean teams. You would read that.
Oh yeah, actually,
that's the one thing you shouldn't
Spike
do
planted.
against Global Esports. You need the SCA dash. You need the SCA scrap. But back to the points. Global Esports again with a quick punish and some good trades actually. The straight V2 as they confidently stroll on over to that A site. Skills here and 1v2 still peaks. But didn't get punished there in time. Guiding Light now to call. Surprise perhaps here from the Sova of Kappa. He gets the first. He gets second as Hellraiser gets back in cover. Or rather BMVZ. Constant's now broken. Shocklet's now bouncing all around. And can he actually get the takedown? But look at all the time the Sova has bought here for Global Esports. And this will become an 8-4 half. Some opportunities. Yes, Mr. Asarai for Global Esports. But overall, it's still Fancy United with the lead.
They didn't have to do anything to him. They just did him dirty and just threw out utility after utility.
They kept them trapped there. Why are we here? Just to suffer, apparently. Yeah.
Remember that one clip, I think that was from TSM Wardell, where I think that was like when Sky was new, was pushing on A main on Ascent, and he got flash after flash after flash. He was just like screaming. I always feel the same way.
It's one of those, they ask you how you are and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not fine.
Internally crying.
Internally crying. Like, what do I even do here? Case in point, okay? Case in point, many of the rounds that Global Esports have won in this whole first half are just those punish plays. When they see Fancy United trying to do something a little bit more ambitious, a little bit more aggressive, Global Esports is, in all honesty, from their initial positions, by default prepared for that. So they have gotten those opportunities when they're not going for the rushdowns. But I also feel like if Global Esports just succeeded in those first few rounds there versus the FCY, this could have been a completely different story, since we now get them on the defense. They have shown that they have that right, I'd say, understanding of how FCY wants to set up towards these sites. And maybe this is where they can really mount a bit more of their comeback. But Fancy United, all they need to do now is get the job done. They have all the smokes in the world. They have so many ways to get the crowd control on with the flashes and the stuns. And keep an eye out on the hot hands of Killer S. He is ready to make these entries work.
Yeah, he's ready to rumble. That's why he's got the Killer with the S at the side, you know, because he's super cool and he's super good getting those frags.
You saying it like that makes it not cool.
No, he is super cool. Like, you know, Skills with a Z. And BMV with a Z. It's all super cool names, man.
So where does
are you
Asarai
laughing?
come
I'm
from?
being serious.
Okay. Okay, Lionheart, whatever you say.
I hate you, man. You guys didn't know. One of my previous IGNs was Lionheart.
Cover going down.
Valorant, yes. SK Rossi duels and cannot get the kill onto Ace Rolla. Fancy United now, they are going to be contesting the Cubby heavily. They do want to go for the 2-pro attack towards A site instead. Flash is perfect though. SK Rossi is absolutely blinded. And Killer's there will get the takedown. Dashing on in, trying to make sure he still has some reinforcements if ever he peeks on that. But there's no one here on A site, and FCY will take it handily.
Here.
Well, that's going to give them a lot of control here. The flash to push through, and Killers is fully blinded, but his teammates actually helping him. The power of friendship compels you, and it actually propels you to the next stage. Kappa wide swinging, but Killers was already on the case. And that's going to be Fancy U getting the pistol on the second half.
And what's one of the biggest rise? Fancy United is in the lead right now. The trust and the teamwork is just absolutely on point here for these kind of takes. Killers was patient enough to wait out that class burst just to make sure everyone else can peak with him. Compared to what we see for Global Esports, that there is that ambition and the punishes happen on the individual aspect, not really on the team sense. It's Fancy United. I really have to say that the chemistry between these guys, it's pretty clear that they are using that to help them out in a pinch to make these takes more convincing. And Ace Roll, of course, he's a hot hand, he's a sweet shot. With a kill there onto SK Rossi, it just adds one more to this equation. But Fancy United overall, you have to give them props basically on how they cover one another, how each player here can thrust each other to keep them alive if they're blinded, if they're flashed, if they're stunned, because they know how to deal with the opposition in a pinch for their own teammate here, Asarai.
Hellranger's so close with the pistol here. He actually gets away with a kill right now. There's the crossfire. And look at how he just overheats. Didn't even know where he was looking at. And Acerola now he's getting confounded, but he does have the Spectre. 2 bullets in the chamber. Not going to be enough. What the heck was that? Like, they were already at short and no one was peeking through short itself. Hello?
It looked to be one of those, you know, to me is like one of those, analyze a few things about the game kind of rounds, and then it changes immediately. Here's Hellranger.
Spike down mid.
Hellranger, how? It's perfect for the classic. It's a free gun, by the way. What is going on? The power of friendship this time failed, my friend.
Well, sometimes skill over friendship, right?
True.
That's why when you watch Kuroko the Basket, they broke up because he wanted to be friends, but they wanted to be better.
Whoa, don't bring your own problems here. I was about to say this is why you don't play with me when I play Valorant, but okay. Whatever, right?
It's not my problems. That's the anime's problem. That was the big thing. If you haven't watched it yet.
Okay. I'll maybe after this whole APAC thing goes.
I'll give you.
Give me some Blu-rays
on Netflix, bro. It's on Netflix.
Then we can chill afterwards.
Oh hell yeah.
Okay, so back to the matter of hand. Global Esports, I like this timeout because they need to just reset themselves. This is the perfect opportunity for the comeback. They're thinking now how they're going to be moving into the rest of these rounds, and this is quite a gamble in all honesty. A very early operator, if I might say so myself. This is only the 3rd round of the second half, but they want to get SK Rossi heated on up to be confident more and more with the shots, and of course play those long angles if need be. But the interesting thing is, he's in the boat right now, so they are expecting Fancy United to be able to walk at least towards this B site. Because look at A instead. The utilities are crazy here for Global Esports.
There's a monstrous stack here. And Heisen's going to get spotted here. Also give away that he's actually purchased the Vandal now. But maybe that's what they're looking for. Maybe that's what they're hoping for, that they will force Global Esports to start moving through. But that's not what the fancy way is. The fancy way in is through door here at B.
Breaks it down. Fancy United trying to open up their options, but again, they still want to go towards that A site. The spike is in the hands of Acerola. In this instance now, all about setting up those dark covers, guiding lights. Initiate is on with the fault line as well, but no one close there. For the side of Global Esports, they're waiting patiently on the site itself. Heisey though will catch
30
Golu
seconds
after
left.
Skills gets one. He looks left, doesn't notice it's coming, and Heisey actually getting his face instead. Fancy United still finding a way to open up this site anyway. Hellranger peeking on that though. We'll get the answer, but it's 3v3 and he is forced in such a predicament thanks to that aftershock. Yes, I can. We'll get the catch instead. Spike now planted, and Fancy United look to make this costly here for Global Esports. Big gamble, yes, with the operator, but Kappa not done with the shots. Matthew there to get that takedown onto Acerola. Yes, I can, still with the straight out. Dash on in right now from SK Rossi, trying to get the angle. Classic is all he needs.
Oh, no!
One shot perhaps of BMVC with a frenzy! And what a steal here from FCY. 5 HP is all BMVC needs to stay on alive. And they take that round and they take that off.
PMVC was, what, 1 HP?
5 man, a handful.
Yeah, that crossfire that they did was so good. And the dash in by SK Rossi was
player standing.
honestly very questionable. Like, they already spotted one. He wasn't able to assist his teammate. And basically, as he was mid-air dashing in, he just got information, but wasn't firing because you can't do that while, using your tailwind. So that was hella awkward.
Oh.
And speaking of which, even more so as he lost the operator last round, he purchased a new operator this round and loses it at the very start as well. Oof.
It's just gone immediately. And the gamble from Global Esports, it went away so quickly. And then this time, SK Rossi outdueled there by Killers. Fancy United, they're just absolutely on form right now. And they're just playing it quite patiently. They are expecting Global Esports to have some of the rifles on the other side. Trailblazer though keeping an eye out. That's a big exposition here, as right. That Judge made some noise. Fancy United, this will be a transition elsewhere, so they don't have to deal with that close range weapon.
They're backing away, they're respecting it, but look at the brunt of forces here. Golo's picked up the operator, which is huge, as he shuts down Acerola. No more smokes for the Fancy United team. He got spotted. Golo's waiting in anticipation here. I wonder if they know. Actually, they would, because Golu is that killjoy with the operator. As he spot out the alarm bot, they immediately back away here, Dax. And they're deciding to charge in onto the B site. Do they have anything to clear the back of things? Maybe Heisey with his wall. But it was used to actually look for the spawn. How did he even spot a Golu? Where was he coming from? Well, regardless, they're still gonna have to push through, and there's still a 2 at the B site itself. Gonna have to clear this out. Hell Ranger and Kappa doing a good job at delaying the opposition, and they might just be able to make this happen.
Yeah, it's 4 seconds left. FCY has to go for the plant, but Global Esports hiding instead, staying on the live, and they will be able to take the round and even clean up nicely. I'm a little confused why FCY still went for that B side anyway. They know the Judge was there. They know that they're gonna have to be contesting in such a, I'd say, chaotic fashion. They went for that mid control, but maybe this was a confidence because of that takedown for pillars. But L Ranger, boy, howdy he.
One enemy
was just
remaining.
absolutely clutch. The Bulldog being a big bother. Global Esports getting back in position. And they're still alive here, Asarai. They are able to get back the operator even. Just because they won that round. It's Fancy United instead. With the potence of an economy. Let's see now if SK Rossi can make something happen with the operator. But the blades are on his counterpart, Killer S.
Yeah, I was weirded out by the wall not being used for the back of B.
traveling.
And it's not because we can't see that they're at the back of B site, but when you don't actually clear out anything on B side itself, right? Usually, from what I see from high-ranking Asterisks, they actually just use it because they know that the anchor will be there. And if it's on the site itself, you can just deal with it with the rest of your squad. That being said, though, Global Esports, yeah, pretty dominant performance output, and that's going to be the flawless round for them. A much-needed reprieve in these very troubling rounds to continue. And they still need 3 more to equalize for Fancy, who does have that 10-7.
And I think we're going to be going for a Fancy United timeout, yeah. Because this is looking a little dangerous on the economic side. Check out this replay, though. The Global Esports setup is, I'd honestly say, relatively strong when things click and when they have all the utilities that they have in the way of Fancy United. It's just an absolute minefield. You have Golu, you have Hell Ranger. These 2 guys especially gonna be the big bother. And I think this can loop back to something we kept talking about Fancy United. They didn't have that Sentinel to watch those flanks. It cost them versus no neighbors. But now they are dealing with a Sentinel on the other side, and they're witnessing face first what the problems are, what basically bothers them. Even if they can blockade the vision, even if they can get some flashes on, it's still those nanoswarms being one of the peskiest things to prevent them from pushing here. And it can be a problem even as soon as they get the buys.
It really has been the issue. Man. They still, at least for Fancy specifically now, you know, talking about these 2 teams, they still have a chance. 3 rounds is really good as a buffer when you're going up against, again, a Global Esports roster. But now, with the operator in hand of SK Rossi and the other side, they're actually committing to the Judge here. I'm loving this. This could be a detriment for the rest of them. The Flash will push back. The charge right in. It's the standard default push onto the B side itself. SK Rossi can't push through onto the door, and they've actually stopped it in the tracks. But Hell Ranger's timing with the Rolling Thunder creates waves at the back of things. Kappa, he holds on. He hasn't given away his position, and his Judge, he whips! Oh my goodness! SK Rossi whips as well! Oh, no. But this is still a 3 versus 3. Heisey! He comes down to the right possible time! Heisey destroys the lockdown! They destroy the opposition! They destroy the defense! And GES botched around! What?
Crucial misses when they need to hit those the most. Heartbreaking here for Global Esports, and especially heartbreaking for Hell Ranger. He put in the effort at the start, gave them such a good chance to win that round. But FCY Killers, he's done it again. This is an incredible show of force here from the jet of Fancy United. He had struggles here the Apex side. Last time they were on ascent. This time, he is in full force. Suit and tie and all. And tip your hats to your waitress. Tip your hat to FCY. Because, well, we are seeing that they can go for the shots. But finally, SK Rossi making the operator count. Shutting down the jet. Kappa also to kill on the SI with the shot lines. But Ace roll up. Not done. We'll get to holding down the hands of Kappa. Heisey is there. And a scrap again towards the B side. It's 2v2 though. And the Cosmic Divide is available here for skills if ever. But Golu now crouching, thinking about going through those smokes. Global Esports do want to set things up with the Astra here, blocking away the vision from the boathouse. FCY deciding to commit on the site in itself. And now the Swarm plus the Pulse are there for utility, but Astrola will get 3 skills, gets the raid. 1v1 right now. The battle of the Astras will go in favor of High Z's. And the constellations align for Fancy United. Look at the stars. They're the ones on match point here.
They are designating leading Fancy U to the promised land. Promised land of being still in this tournament, Dax.
Last player standing.
Look at that flick from Heisey. And I wonder what Skills was thinking there. Maybe he expected his opponent to be on the other side of the wall? Because it seems like he was looking towards the wall itself, because he probably expected Heisey here to dodge the what is it called? Dodge the stun. Anyways, SK Rossi, the shenanigans on this man as he picks up the 2K, really helpful, especially now that the economy is in tatters for Global Esports. They do have a buy round, but they were forced to actually purchase these weapons, and SK Rossi with those blades at least make it into a very worthwhile endeavor.
They still need to prove that they can finish off the round cleanly here for Global Esports, because we just saw the other round prior to this one can easily fall on apart after a good start. Killers is low on the HP here. Skills in the middle, looking to keep an eye out as well. Fancy United, they're getting prepared now to at the very least try and maybe get one of those overextends here from Global Esports. But really, GE has kept to their lanes more often than not. They're keeping that mid control on. There's a smoke though, and it actually blocks the vision of the Astra. Still, Killer's gonna be dashing on around. Hell Ranger in the meantime, anticipating mid push, but look behind you. So Azarola, just turn on Rat. Azarola, he's right there. He's right there.
Seconds left.
Hell Ranger will get the
enemy
kill.
remaining.
He'll get the second. It's all left now to Heisey. In a 1v3, he's on site here. Hasarai not putting the spike yet. Peek there from Skills, jumping on the round. Maybe this time Global Esports, can they finish it off? The aftershock is there. 1, 2, 3 pulses. Skills even to catch him. And Global Esports not done yet.
Awkward? The Hell Ranger position? He wasn't even looking at...
Exactly, he was waiting for mid, right?
Yeah. And he still actually gets away. What are the chances? What are the chances there? He actually gets
This
a 2
game,
piece
this
after
series.
that as well. Yeah.
This series is defined by chances, to put it lightly.
Yeah, I agree.
Coincidences. Situations. Still, for Global Esports, the hearts of the South Asia region are behind them. They want them to survive. They want them to make this 4-round comeback to force out the overtime. But Fancy United, they really do not want to net. They're raging down. Already Big Bam eliminated. Gonna be a heartbreak if also Fancy United falls here. For now, though, they have proven to be in a superior position. Lesser on the buys, though. But look at the ultimates, Asarai. 4 of them at the ready. If FCY decides to brute force their way to B sites, Global Esports has to respect it.
There's nothing. As you mentioned, there's only the one. There it is already. They dashed right in. Killers were open to sight up, but there's nothing to surprise them at the back of things. They will clear this up. I wonder if Global will actually push through, but they will wait through that Rolling Thunder first. Oh, the punish is coming swiftly here, and SK Rossi is popping off. Gets a 3K, 4K! Give it to Ace, why don't ya? Chasing it down. Smells blood in the water, and he actually has spotted the one already. Yes, I can. Yes, he can actually, but he does have to reload after that 2K. Unfortunately, though, Global Esports gather their own Rolling Thunder to retaliate, and they knew they would have been able to get a nice slice of the pie if they just waited long enough.
And that was clean there from Global Esports. Hellranger again, he is a beast of this B side. But SK Rossi now given the opportunity, given the advantage. You can see how many are concussed. They haven't even gotten back on their feet there, Azurai. The hangover is still settling in from the earthquake that's brought by the breach. And truly well played there by Global Esports.
Get out of my
They
way!
cannot slip up. That is a great round for them. And we've seen great rounds for Global Esports. But like I said about some of their situations, few and far between. A little bit more though in this series. Still not enough to be the ones on that winning side. Can they get this though? This should be a round where FCY will struggle. They only have the Sheriffs, they do have the Bladestorm, and everything will boil down to Killers making the entry count. But he's already fended off the way. Burns the dash, burns the updraft. Less mobility now for Jet as Global stays on site.
He's committed everything to this one. The double Cloudburst as well to get them slightly deeper into the site, but that did not phase Golu whatsoever. However, the trades are looking, it might not be enough! No, Heisey! Once again, the Astra to the stars! He finds 2K!
No one paid attention! No one paid attention to him! He was right smack dab in the middle! And he just gets ignored! Which leads to him getting those takedowns. Now it's 2v2. Yes, I can with a low HP. Judge, though, finally hitting its mark. Yes, I can go down. And it's all left to Heisey now. He has the Phantom, though. Hell, Ranger trying to set up door. Now it's gonna get broken. And Kappa will get caught on that. 1 versus 1. Let's see how high this Astra can go. Unfortunately, this round is the limit. Hell Ranger will get the round. He has been the crucial one here for Global Esports. The one who plays it clutch either at the start or the end of the round. And it's 12-10. We're seeing Global Esports still fight, scrap. They don't want to go home yet.
Great reactions there from Hell Ranger.
One enemy remaining.
But that was way too close for comfort. This was supposed to be just a thrifty round that, again, FCY were supposed to die down. Golu had all the lineups in the world, but you mentioned it. Nobody was looking towards the Heisey hype train, and he just ran over these civilians. Oh, that's actually really bad. But, whoa. I play too much Red Dead Redemption.
That's right. The train conundrum. I'm seeing your karma values already, but SK Rossi, he's accosted there by the utilities. Unleashes the Bladestorm. We get the classic operator in his hands. And FCY right now, the stack is real yet again. It's problematic though, especially because of that breach of Flash though. Cannot be used. Kappa with the takedown. Oh! But Hellraiser, SK Rossi, where did that come from? The operator shot to just pierce on through, but yes, I can. Alive, fights, and wins versus the Jet. Onto the fight we go. Peek is there, and Skills will get the takedown. 2v1. Oh, hello to you, and goodbye to Global Esports. Fancy United take it 13-10. But it was a prophecy that Heisey wanted to foretell. And here in the second attempt in the back-to-back rounds, he's able to do it, Azurai.
I'm absolutely speechless. That my mouth is dry from just having my mouth open for a few seconds there. Sorry. That what? I'm speechless. I'm Dax. I mean, that play just messed with my brain. All right, just give me some time. Oh my goodness.
What a recovery from Heisey. I'm gonna start talking instead.
All right, thank you.
What a freaking recovery from Heisey. He had 1 kill for so long, maybe 2, and he just clutched it for the team. Amazing efforts there from the Astra, but overall, Fancy United, they scrapped there in the end. They still made sure that Global Esports had to contend, and I really feel like for Global Esports, it's not the easiest whatsoever watching these SEA squads barrel down your face, and even if they get that good start, you know, Kappa there, shutting one down, SK Rossi threading the bullet, getting 2 there. Fancy United still push on forward. There's no hesitation, there is no fear. They have said, we have committed anyway, so screw it, we are going. And it gives them that chances. What a shot there, I believe, from Yes I Can to shut down SK Rossi, and fun. Yeah. Heisey has been a star there in the last few rounds. Like, we're just recapping the last round because it was so unbelievable. But overall, Fancy United, they built up that lead, and for Global Esports, it's the end of the road for them.
Global Esports, logic put in should have won that round, but sometimes logic goes out the window. And you go above and beyond in terms of performance. Let's check out the highlights here real quick. Come on,
Perfect point.
right? 'Cause
Perfect point, that's right.
they shouldn't have
First
lost
round?
that.
They should have lost the first round, should have lost the second round, should have lost the third round, and in all honesty, that has been the story of global esports. They shouldn't have made those mistakes. They shouldn't have lost those rounds, that they put themselves in such a good position to win. If you've ever seen the phrase "drop the ball," this is really it. And it's heartbreaking because this is a really budding region. There's so many people in South Asia, so many passionate fans who care about these teams, who really wants to see them in the APAC side. And one of the representatives fall here. But there are moments, there are reasons why global esports is considered one of the two kings of South Asia. You see it from time to time. But I really can't tell by this point, because the history repeats. Their weakness is their neighbors in the Southeast Asia side. They cannot handle consistently this in-your-face kind of antics that can bring SEA teams to the forefront. And for global esports, they're gonna need to get over that hump. They're gonna need to get more victories in inter-regional competition, because that feels to be their biggest weakness as a team, not on the local side.
We have seen that in multiple third-party tournaments as well, right? When South Asia and Southeast Asia meet together, more so than not, it's always Southeast Asia that comes out on top, and we see the reasons why. You've mentioned it already and everything. There's always that one piece missing for global esports to get the one up, and it's so close. You see it already with the series itself, 13-11, 13-10. But with all said and done, that does mean that global esports are not going to be able to push through in the play-ins. So we're going to go for the break. We're going to let the panel discuss all of this, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Caught up, look how things will switch. People they're quick, now they wanna move at the bits. Boy wanna go to bitch. Now I'm moving. I gotta do what I do. I'm really here on my ones now instead of 4 3s or 2s, and now it's every from. I could have been effing you in Paris. I don't wait for the drop. I just flow from the pot. From me, all the energy extra. You don't want to see me with the hypness. Generations caught up, look how things will switch. People they're quick, now they want to move at the bits. Boy wanna go to a bitch, nah.
Working a 9 to 5, I had to go and feed the guys. Nobody did it right, I had to show them how to grind. I had to be the hard, this is the life I live for God. Taking a step at a time, we going up, we headed to Mars. Taking them chances, making decisions, you know I'm never gonna lie. Till you let go, I'm copying all them, who you gonna be inside. I cannot fake it, I gotta face it, I gotta do the time. You gotta wait for a great pay, make sure you're doing your job. Gotta deal with the patience, 200 every occasion. Going to different locations, how they got when I need some direction. Me and Vinci go up every session. Cook it up, yeah, you know it's no pressure. Yeah, you know how we do what we all in. We can slow up and you never catch us. Working a 9 to 5, I had to go and feed the guys. Nobody did it right, I had to show them how to grind. I had to be the hard, this is the life I live for God. Taking a step at a time, we going up, we headed to Mars. You know my slimes, they came from the bottom to top. They can define us, they tryna find us. Boy, I know you with the ops. We're not the same, no, you can't compare me. I don't belong in the box. Don't try to play me, no, I'm not friendly. This is everything I got. Ain't no playing around, this is no playground. And no matter I do what I say now, I'ma go give them something to say now. Got them stuck on my back like a spray ground. See, don't gotta complain. I'm a shooter, got eyes in my vein. They said that I would never make it, they thought I was crazy. They said I'm insane. Working a 9 to 5, I had to go and feed the guys. Nobody did it right, I had to show show them how to grind. I had to be the hog, this is the life I live for God. Taking a step at a time, we going up, we headed to Mars.
Undefined for life.
And we honestly thought that entire series was gonna go to game 3, but it is what it is. It was as close as it can get, but it seems as though as Global Esports is not quite ready for the global scene right now, as Fancy United Esports secures that 2-0 victory. I'm Nomad. Alongside with me is Black and Blue and Raph and his pet doggo. What went wrong there for Global Esports? They tried their best on Icebox to begin with, but going into Ascent, kind of dropped the ball in the first half and then barely made it out there.
Yeah, I just don't know, man. It seemed like they just were ill prepared for the competition at hand, and considering, they were playing up against, Fancy, who aren't even the best team from Vietnam. To be fair, they are a pretty good team. They have been other Vietnamese teams that are in this tournament, but like Big Bang, for example, but it just didn't seem like they, knew exactly what the reasons of what they were doing and why they were doing it. Like, they'd have this composition, right? They'd have the Killjoy paired with the Omen without having a Viper. That just made me wonder what the game plan is here. And then they were doing some type of like, oh, let's go for Snowman push, but we don't even have our Viper wall for Snowman or something like that, or the smoke's even prepped for Snowman. So it was just very curious to me on the decisions that they were making and why they were executing them. And unfortunately for Global, they're going to have to keep things local for the meantime.
And let's be honest here, there was also some questionable choices on the composition for Fancy, but they did take that W. Again, there's a KO, but there wasn't a gap close for that KO. Again, let's move on to Ascent, because this should have been the map that Global won. They have an 86% chance of taking Ascent away from Fancy. Now, what does that mean? 86 is definitely more than enough to win a map, but apparently it is a bit of a curse breaker, and Fancy really showed up. A lot of their aggression was not pushed, rather punished. And again, it started with the map veto. It was such a peculiar set of whole information being processed towards us. It's just a bit of a heartbreaker for a lot of the Global Esports fans to see them have such a, unfortunate exit.
Yeah, and we've seen signs of SK Rossi throughout the entirety of the series really try to carry the entirety, I would say, of the South Asian region behind its backs to prove that they do deserve to be in the challengers. But at the end of the day, Fancy United Esports, they proved that they would want it better, and they kicked successfully kicked Global Esports out of the competition. Now, there only really is Velocity, the only representative South Asia has here in the tournament. They are in the group stages. We'll see them play next week. But for the most part, what does this mean for Global Esports? Would this be another rebuilding for themselves, another bounce back? Let's come back next challengers. What's going to happen?
Well, what other choice do they have aside from just, I guess, tuck it in and really try and bounce back come stage 2? And I'm hoping that they can, because South Asia is it's a scene that we just recently inducted into the VCT circuit, and it would be really great for them to perform a lot better. I'm hoping, for the sake of Global and the South Asia scene as a whole, that Velocity can keep up that mantle that Global kind of brought to the world stage last time during LCQ. I'm hoping that same kind of success, at least notoriety wise, will be found in, I guess, Velocity's fortune.
Oh yeah, and again, thinking about this, they were under the microscope for about all of their Valorant career, so that was added pressure. I would say unnecessary pressure. But to all the fans out there who, again, a little disappointed, just, it's okay, guys. There's still quite a bit to develop, and that's a good thing. The ceiling will only get higher. Just don't inhale that copium. That is not good for you at all. But again, Global Esports, we still expect quite a bit from them. Again, moving forward, this has been the theme of the VCT. Really, it's all about that evolution and growth, and we look forward to seeing that.
And we're going to be looking forward to seeing the updated standings, updated brackets that we have after the 4 series that we have for the entirety of the day. And it's the last chance for Action PH in full sense, as they will be the last team to play in Group A to determine who else is gonna hop in. Full sense, of course, after that victory against Team Big Bam and that loss off of Onyx G, they want to make it out of the group with Onyx G and prove that they do deserve to be in group stages and have that rematch against Onyx G. And Action PH, not really the best of performances against Onyx G, want to prove otherwise. Get rid of Big Bam, now get rid of Full Sense. That is Action PH wants to happen. But moving things over towards Group B, it's now the final chance for Fancy United Esports to make it out of the groups. But then again, they're going up against Griffin Esports. They will get that revenge on their Fancy United Esports is going to get that revenge. Sorry, Griffin Esports is going to get that revenge on No Namers and hopefully make it out there. But Fancy United Esports, they're looking poised as well to make it out.
Totally. I mean, it was No Namers who sent both of these teams down to the lower bracket. They've been looking like that team to beat for the Group B stages. But we talked about earlier early on in this entire stage, that Group B was very volatile. Anybody could come out of it. It's seemingly looking like between tomorrow's matches with Fancy and Griffin going up against each other, I think that remains true as well. We honestly have no idea how these games are going to go tomorrow, but we're going to be certain that they are going to be action-packed and ones to look out for.
Once again, I will agree with you. I've done that all throughout the week, and well, there's no stopping now. Again, the excitement is going to mount just from the first series alone. But that volatility and that explosiveness and that unpredictability is definitely not going to stop with our final series of the day with Griffin versus Fancy. Just for, a quick review, if you guys were not paying attention or have the attention span of a goldfish, much like I do. But yeah, again, expectations still at an all-time high. The Shark Tank is finally looking to complete itself.
And tomorrow we will finally figure out who will be joining in on the group stages, who will be bidding a farewell in Challengers APAC, and tomorrow that's going to happen a little later than what we've had earlier. So make sure you guys tune into the broadcast. And it's all down to the wire here. It has been all 2-0s for the entirety of the play-ins. If we see that tomorrow, maybe 2 is the lucky number for this year. If not, it's a pleasant surprise to finally see a 3-game series. But with all that being said, our expectations have already been set and has been thrown into the wind, and it's all down to the players, the teams, to make or break tomorrow. On behalf of the casting desk, as well as the regional broadcasts that we have all around the Asia Pacific region, I'm Nomad. Alongside with me is Black and Blue and Raph. We'll see you tomorrow for more action here at the Asia Pacific Challengers. Good night and good fight.
Oh man, what you talking about, man? You so crazy, bruh. Wasn't too long before I realized a whole lot of truth just realized. Two groups faking the real guys, and both of them plotting on your meal size. Gotta be more, is this real life? Got a bad hand, but I still try. Try and knock me down and I still climb. I can see the promised land right over the hill line. And when I get there, yeah, we all gon' party. Learn how to surf cause the waves is gnarly. Gotta make the bread, gotta bake the barley. But it take a little time, be patient, darling. Working for the people, gotta rake them all in. But sometimes people make you hate your calling. Some people panic when the brakes is stalling. Me, I go to God when my faith is falling. Put it on the tattoos. A righteous man don't know bad news. Found forgiveness for my snafus. Nothing for the pretty girls trying to get a cashew. Bad dude. Sometimes life really suck like a vacuum. The devil I don't never turn my back to. I just wanna shower love like a bathroom and be a role model for the black youth.